Hi, my name is Brittney Collins, and this is my persuasive speech for Communications 101. My audience is my dad, my mom, and my sister. Okay. Induced abortion is the most common surgical procedure in the Western world, with an estimated 42 million pregnancy terminations taken worldwide each year. And that statistic is astounding, which how many babies are being killed every year, and I feel like it's our duty to do something about that. If you care about the value of life and you want to be a part of the solution to decreasing that number of 42 million abortions every year, then you should listen to my ideas about what we can do. I'm an educated young woman who is passionate about the subject because I want to reach out to young women who are my age, and I also have done some outside research to assist me. Abortion now is legal and it's normal in our society, and it violates God's law of life, and we need to do something about that. We need to appeal to the government to do three things. Create a law to make parental consent for younger kids under age 21, to educate patients, force doctors to educate patients before they get an abortion, and also to fund pro-life shelters. So I will now prove how abortions will be diminished if you do those three things. Let's take a closer look. Less abortions would happen if young women have to get parental consent. That's because it's so easy for young girls to just go and get an abortion behind their parents' back and no one would ever know about it. And they have to hold that burden in for the rest of their life, and no one would be there to support them. So if parents know about that, they will be able to support them and possibly tell them and change their mind and give them a wise, experienced advice on what to do. An article titled Legal Abortion Levels and Trends by Women's Age at Termination, the author shows a chart of ages of women that are getting abortions, and women younger than 20 is 20% of the amount of women who are getting abortions. So 20% of 42 million women are getting abortions, and that's a crazy amount. And also, Maggie Gallagher, in her journal Human Life Review, found data suggesting that abortion may contribute to depression in emerging adulthood, which not only would abortion be a mistake for a young woman, they would also may fall into depression, they may become suicidal, and if a parent knows about that and can support them, then they could look out for those signs or stop them from getting an abortion completely. And God gives parents authority over children, as Ephesians 6:1 tells children to obey their parents, for this is right. So children should listen to their parents before they get an abortion. This brings me to my second point. If there was a law to force doctors to educate patients about the process of abortion, there would be a lot less women getting one, because women don't know much about the process. PDH researchers for women's health issues state women and men are not well informed about the relative safety and consequences of sexual and reproductive health experiences such as abortion. So if women were given such a pamphlet such as this to show pictures of young babies as they're being formed, such as 22 weeks when you can already see the baby's eyelashes, young women would understand more about what's happening in their bodies and would know that it's a human life. And Jeremiah 1:5 also tells you that God knew us before we were even formed in the womb. So it shows that human life, you're actually a human before you were born. And it's not just a fetus, not just cells. So this brings me to my final point. Abortions would be less prevalent if there were more volunteers and funding for pro-life shelters. If women had support and financial support and help and counseling, then they might choose to keep the baby. They might choose to have an adoption set up. So God wants us to share each other's troubles and problems, and in this way obey the law of Christ, as Galatians 6:2 says. So he wants us to reach out to people and volunteer like that. So this brings me to my conclusion. Abortion is an astounding problem in our country, and we need to take a stand and appeal to our government to create laws for parental consent, for doctors to educate their patients about the process of abortion, and to create funding for pro-life shelters to give help and hope to young women. So don't be discouraged of the laws and acceptance of abortion in our society today. You need to keep strong and fight for what you believe in, and fight for the unborn babies' lives, and appeal to the government for these 3 things to decrease abortion. So, thanks for listening.